So I was watching a couple of students the other day, or listening to them talk to each other. They were working on a project together, and so they were having those kind of conversations that kids will have. And one of the things they were talking about was a movie that they had watched. Well, two of the kids had watched this movie, and one had not. And of course, the one that had not made the comment and looked a little confused because she said, well, that movie is an R-rated movie. So you two aren't old enough, so how did you see it? And of course, the other two made the comment that they could watch R-rated movies and that it was okay with their parents if they watched it, and that their parents had even watched R-rated movies with them. And I could notice the confusion on the face of the child who is not permitted to watch R-rated movies, and she was very confused. And of course, I didn't rush in to rescue her during the conversation because I think that would have made things worse, but it didn't leave my mind about the struggle that children have when they are in a world where there's such a wide range of parental permissions, let's just say, and they're in a classroom with some kids who have absolutely free choice, let's just say, in everything that they see and that that comes into their lives, or other children do have parents that are guarding their hearts and their eyes and their ears and those sorts of things. And so I want to take just a minute and be able to try to explain to any student or any child of a parent that does have the foresight to guard the child's eyes and their heart and their soul and their ears from things like R-rated movies. And so I'm going to take just a second and see if I can kind of take that from an abstract concept to something that's a little bit more concrete for you. So I'm going to take these two cups for just a minute. They look very identical, and let's just say these are two children, and that these two children come into the world, and they're fairly, let's just say, blank slates. And there is a world full of wonderful things out there and some very negative things. And of course, there are games out in the world that are good games, and there are television shows that are appropriate. There is appropriate music. There are great books that are good for people. But then there are also horror movies. There are songs with terrifying lyrics. There are horrible words that are used and these sorts of things. And parents have a choice about whether or not their kids are exposed to any of these things. But let's just say your parent is very, very careful and makes sure that everything that you're reading that is coming into your senses, let's put it this way, the things that you're hearing, the things that you're seeing, I wouldn't say smelling, but everything that's coming to you, into your body and into your mind, everything that's going into who you are is something that is pleasant. And so just as some examples, I've got some pretty crayons, okay? So let's just say some of the things that get tossed in are these happy little beautiful colored crayons. So you've got this happiness in there. I've got some candy. So there's some good things. Maybe you've been watching some good movies. Some more happiness is getting in there because your parents are playing games with you. I got some more happiness that's getting in there because your parents are making sure you've got good books that are coming to you. Your parents are just very careful about every little experience that you're having, and there's nothing negative. So now, in this person that you are is all this pleasantness. Everything that's in here is what you're seeing here. It's good times, it's good memories, it's good words, it's good experiences. It's all this positivity and happiness, and it's just continuing to be piled in here the entire time of your childhood. And so if you close that up into the human being that you are, I don't care what life does to you, tosses and turns and flips you over and all that. We're going to just do it just like this. Set it over to the side. Okay. Now, somebody else, perhaps they're just like you, they're going to have times of happiness. They're going to have, great experiences just like you have. So, they've heard some good and wholesome music just like you have. They're going to have some happy memories, maybe with their family as well. They've heard they've read a good book. They've seen a good movie. But at the same time, their parents didn't really care if they listened to some songs that had some horrible lyrics to it. They didn't care if their child stood up late at night and watched some shows with some horror in it. They didn't care if that child was exposed to bad language. They didn't care if that kid played video games that had constant violence and bloodshed. They didn't care if the topics that were discussed and the things they've been exposed to are really adult types of things. So of course now I've got my paper dirty. So we're going to put this also into, you know, another pretty much identical looking, oh, let me get this dirt off. Identical looking form as well. Shake it up. Same way. I'm too old to have my arms shaking like that on television. Okay, but from the outside, these look basically the same. Oh, basically, they look identical. And to the world, you know, people interacting with each of these children, they would not be able to tell them apart, okay? And as these people grow up and are out, I'm going to turn around, out in the world, people aren't going to know the differences. So if you ask somebody, hey, will you write a book for me? Hey, will you make a painting for me? Hey, will you consider dating me? Hey, this is the person that my daughter has brought home, or hey, this is a person my son has brought home. You know, you're not going to know from the outside until what's within these people, what's within this person, what's within inside of you, depending on what you've had put inside, that's what's going to come out. No matter what is put in to these people, that's all that can come out. And you don't know until you start to ask them to express themselves in certain ways. And so once you have these two, let's just say, we're going to take this person, okay? We don't know anything about him yet. We don't know anything. We say, hey, would you consider going out with me on a date? Or would you consider going out with my daughter or my son, let's just say? Or would you write a song for me? In other words, I want to be a part of your life in some way. Well, now we're going to find out what is inside of this person, because that's all they're going to have to give to the world. Look at this. What they're going to spill out in music that they write, in art that they make, in conversations that they have, in relationships that they have. There's going to be good times. There's going to be happy times. There are going to be times of joy. But there are also going to be times that are not pleasant, times that are unhappy, times that are scary, times that are dirty, times that are very, very, very not pleasant to be around, very unhappy. Because that is what they are filled with. And you don't know what's going to come out when. Because that was what was put in. And that's all they have to come out. And you never know which thing's going to come out. However, for the person who only had pleasant things put in, when you're saying, hey, would you co-write a book with me? Would you write a song with me? Would you go on a date with me? Would you potentially be interested in dating my daughter? Would you want to be in a business with me? Would you be interested in a long-term relationship with me? Would you be my friend? Anything you want to do to be in a relationship with this person, look at this. They have been filled with good things. They've only been filled with good things. And so you know what you're going to get is going to be good things from them, because they can't bring out from inside of them bad things, because nothing bad went in. You know, at night when kids go to sleep, they can't really conjure up much just in the way of nightmares on their own, because they have very limited imaginations. But adults have very vivid imaginations, and movies can certainly supply a lot more when it comes to horrors. Books can, I'm saying you're the adult, spare them. Be their protector. Don't let your child be filled with all of the things that the media, and when I say media, I'm talking about, music, movies, books, whatever the case may be. Because once this gets in, it has to get out, and it doesn't mean necessarily with you. It could be 20 years from now, 30 years from now, 40 years from now, when you've gone on and somebody else suffers the consequences for when this comes out and in what form. So I would say to any child out there, if your parent is denying letting you fill yourself with this and is insisting you fill yourself with this, stand strong and tell your mom and dad, thank you.